Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 22 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Cheez-It 200 here at Watkins Glen International, as we're getting set for 14 laps of racing here at one of the best road courses of all time. But before we look at the starting lineup, we have to take a look at the point standings, because we are getting closer and closer to the chase. Heck, after this race, it's only 4 races left until the chase. So let's look at those points. So after last week at Armory Digital Superspeedway, James Qualls takes the points lead back, and he leads by 3 points over Dylan Jacobs and 5 points over David Rivera. 4th is Charles Sanford. 5th is Joshua Sekuli. 6th, Dylan Young. 7th, Matt McIntyre. 8th, Paul Minnick. 9th, Mark Lane. And then 10th is Austin LaPlante. Right now, the 2 wildcard drivers are Rafael Leduc and Emmanuel Hartnett. Rafael Leduc right now, he's outside the top 10 with 2 wins. And then Emmanuel Hartnett 17th in points with 1 win. But still, anything can happen. But let's look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is Phil Parker and Dylan Young. Top 10, Jessica Shelton is on the pole for today. Starting next to her is Kyle Keith. Row 2 is Rafael Leduc and Matt McIntyre. Row 3, Carson Gum, DJ Curtis. Row 4, Joshua Sekuli, Zach Flickinger. And then row 5, David Rivera and James Shelley. Let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Cheez-It 200 at Watkins Glen.
Drivers, start your engines!
Cars rolling out of the final corners for the quarter pace lap around this racetrack to get things going. But yeah, like I said, after this race we have 4 races left until the chase. And boy, when that chase starts, it's going to be wild. I can guarantee that. As the pace car is pulling into pit road, coming off of the final corner, which means it is time to boogity 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 go racing. Caution comes out for the first time today, and it involved Rafael Leduc, as it looked like he got turned and he hit the end of the pit wall. Now, I don't know who it could have been that turned him around, but that looked like a pretty bad one-car deal right there involving the 99 of Leduc, who just hasn't been able to catch much of a break in a lot of races this season, but the thing he is relying on is those 2 wins he has from earlier this season to get into the chase. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Watkins Glen. Well, we may have a rivalry on our hands, because watch this as we go into this final corner. Look at Carson Gum. He tries to go for a move underneath of Rafael Leduc for the second position, but he just kept leaning, and just kept on leaning and turned the 99, and the 99 had nowhere else to go other than hitting them water barrels into that concrete wall, and that completely destroyed the 99 car, and that was all from something that could have been avoided. The 19 could have backed off and not gotten into the 99 and turned him into the wall here. Look at this impact. Man, that is brutal. But yeah, Rafael Leduc once again going to finish with gonna have a DNF this season after getting turned by the 19 of Carson Gum, and perhaps another rival in the ranks of the 99 team. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Watkins Glen. Well, after that first caution, 1 car out of the race as expected, and that is the 99 of Rafael Leduc. Everyone pitted except for the top 5, so the top 5 that elected to stay out were the leader, Joshua Sekuli, second, Matt McIntyre, third, David Rivera, fourth, Zach Flickinger. Actually, no, they're still sorting out the field, so there's quite a lot that didn't pit. Anyways, 5th is Sean Galligan, 6th is Pichu London, 7th, James Shelley, 8th is Preston Lord, 9th, Andrew Rich, 10th, Zachary Fitzwater, 11th is William Brock, 12th is Chris Dollarton, 13th, Dorian Facepuncher, 14th is Chris Michaels, 15th, Mark Lane, 16th, Jessica Shelton, 17th, Carson Gum, 18th, Kyle Keith, 19th, DJ Curtis, 20th is Emmanuel Hartnett, 21st, Dylan Potee, 22nd, Dylan Thoreau, 23rd, Kyle Matthews, 24th is James McLeod, 25th is Dylan Jacobs, 26th is Tim Fiegel, 27th, Austin LaPlante, 28th, James Qualls, 29th is... Oh, I must have missed somebody. Paul Minnick somewhere in here. 30th, actually, is Jake Rogers, and then it's Johnny Gardner, Anthony McCurry, Seth Cole, Benjamin Miles, Charles Sanford, Jonathan Zorline, Trent Dunham, Phil Parker, Joshua Collar, Dylan Young, and Jay Jefferson, the rest of the field. But Joshua Sekuli is your race leader after the top 16 or so, top 15, top 16 drivers stayed out under that caution. And now we're going to see how strategy is going to come into play, because pit strategy is a big factor here at Watkins Glen. And the green flag is waving, and it's 11 to go here at the Glen, and perhaps a challenge for the lead, as on the outside comes Matt McIntyre in the 24. Oh, he's trying to hang in there, but he might get challenged by David Rivera, who's coming in hot on the inside line, and here comes the 6, who's trying to go for his first win this season, and he's in the top 3 in the points, and right now he would take the points lead over, because the 78 and the 70 are in the back of the field right now. Matt McIntyre going through the grass to try to get a faster run going, and he's trying to reel in the 79, as meanwhile David Rivera has company in the form of Zach Flickinger, and this is for 3rd. And it looks like Flickinger is going to clear the 6 before they get into this corner. And look at the run the 24 is getting on the 79. Lost a little bit of time off that corner, but he's still close to the 79. Margin at the line was 1/4 of a second. But he ain't giving up, and the 4 of Zach Flickinger's trying to get in there too, as Pichu London's going to go by David Rivera, and also perhaps even Sean Galligan. Zachary Fitzwater moves himself up into the 8th position, And then Andrew Rich up to 9th, and then William Brock right now is the second highest running rookie in 10th. And look at this, we got a three-way fight for the lead. This is exciting stuff up here at the front. Matt McIntyre has finally caught the 79 and might clear him going into this corner. Helicopter camera, oh, not quite. The 79 is going to have the advantage here off of this corner. But look at Flickinger, he's up here in the mix too, and we're still green. Now Matt's going to get the advantage on the inside. And he does clear the 79 for the lead, and the caution just came out. Trying to see what happened. Oh, Carson Gum with a horrible, multi-car crash. DJ Curtis was in a Dylan Thoreau, and I saw Carson Gum. He looked like he hit the pit wall, similar to what Rafael LeDuc did. There's Jessica Sheldon, who was the pole sitter. She was involved. But man, it's a shame we had a phenomenal battle up at the front for the top 4, and it just got taken away as a result of this crash. Trying to look around to see if anybody else may have had damage, and there's some damage to Tim Fiegel, so it looked like he was perhaps involved in this situation as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay and see what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Watkins Glen. Well, it seems like DJ Curtis took that to heart, what Carson Gum did to Rafael LeDuc, and watch this. The 14 does exactly what the 19 did to the 99 earlier, turn him into the wall, but couldn't get off him in time, and look at that impact. Hard hit from Jessica Sheldon into the 14, sending him upside down several times down the straightaway here, and that was a wild ride for the 14. Let's go back and look at it from this angle. Yeah, there you see the 14 took issue with what the 19 did earlier. Turned him, but then right there, hard bounce out into the track right in front of traffic, and that's how the O2 and company got involved. I'm wondering, trying to also see how did, the 11 of Dylan Thoreau, he was right behind this accident, right behind the 20 in the O2, and watch this. Gets involved after getting into Shelton a little bit, as there you see the 14 wildly flipping down the racetrack, and I'm trying to see about Tim Fiegel. Right there, just little contact into the 11 of Dylan Thoreau, and actually Charles Sanford got a little piece of that as well. So about a good 7 or 8 cars sustained damage in some capacity. But let's go back to DJ Curtis and watch this bounce right in front of Shelton, and that is a hard impact that sent him for a wild ride. There you see the 78 and the 87 and a lot of other drivers going on by on the bottom. But man, that was a vicious crash. Probably one of the most brutal wrecks in all of Watkins Glen history here on this channel. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at the Glen. Well, after that second caution, we got 4 more cars out of the race, and they include Dylan Thoreau, DJ Curtis, Carson Gum, and Jessica Sheldon as they join Rafael LeDuc. So we're down to 37 cars on track. More strategy coming into play as we're approaching the halfway point. Kyle Keith is going to be your new leader. Second is Dylan Poteet. Third is Kyle Matthews. Fourth, James McLeod. Fifth, Austin LaPlante. 6th is Dylan Jacobs. 7th, Jake Rogers. 8th, James Qualls. 9th is Anthony McCurry. 10th, Seth Cole. 11th is Trent Dunham. 12th is Johnny Gardner. 13th, Tim Fiegel. 14th, Benjamin Miles. 15th, Phil Parker. 16th, Joshua Collard. 17th, Jonathan Zorline. 18th, Charles Sanford. 19th, Paul Minnick. 20th is Jay Jefferson. 21st, Dylan Young. 22nd, Matt McIntyre. 23rd, Joshua Sekuli. 24th, Zach Flickinger. 25th, as I'm trying to look, is David Rivera. 26th, Preston Plord. 27th, Zachary Fitzwater. 28th, William Brock. 29th, Peachy London. 30th, Andrew Rich, and then everyone else still on track is actually Emmanuel Hartnett retired, so make that 36 cars. But the rest of the field is Mark Lane, Chris Michaels, Chris Dollerton, Sean Galligan, James Shelley, Dorian Facepuncher. As we're coming out of the final corner to come and take the green flag once again. But it'll be 7 to go at the line, so we'll be at the halfway point here at Watkins Glen, and I hope we can finish out green and get another great battle like we saw right before the caution came back out. And Kyle Keith, decent jump. Poteet got a decent jump as well. Let's see who's going to have an advantage horsepower-wise. And right now, Poteet trying to reel in the 42, and the 09 of Kyle Matthews trying to reel in both of them ahead of him. Double checking at the pace car to see if we were still green, and we are still green. The 42 trying to hold them off. Oh, he goes right through the grass, but then again, so did everyone else. But now it looks like the 42 is starting to pull away a little bit, it's looking like. Everybody coming out of the bus stop area, going through the corner just to make it. And the 42 still trying to pull away, but we got a challenger for third. Austin LaPlante gonna go by, and the caution is out again. And oh, we got two different accidents. And the 62 of Dorian Facepuncher went upside down, and David Rivera, top 3 in points, was involved. So was Sean Galligan. 3-car accident brings the caution out once again. That looked hard as well, so let's take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the third time today here at Watkins Glen. Well, here's what brought the caution out in the first place. It looked like 3 wide gone completely wrong and just not giving each other enough room, and the 40 of Preston Plord gets into the 6 of David Rivera, and David Rivera goes head on into the tires, and that completely destroyed his car. And then as he was spinning, he ricochets back out into traffic, gets into Sean Galligan and into Dorian Facepuncher, and Facepuncher trying to catch his car, comes back up into the 44, and they both go hard into the safer barrier, and the 62 goes over for a quick flip. But yeah, that 44 and 62 accident was a direct result of the 6 after he hit the tire wall, spinning out and ricocheting into traffic and getting into the 44, who then got into the 62, and the 62 trying to save his car, but lost control and got into the 44, and they both went hard into the safer barrier off of turn, I want to say turn 10, I think. But let's go ahead and take a look, and actually not take a look, let's go and take you to the restart once again here at Watkins Glen. Well, 3 more cars are done for today after that third caution. David Rivera, Dorian Facepuncher, Sean Galligan. So we're down to 33 cars on track. But anyways, Kyle Keith is still your race leader. Second is Dylan Poteet. Third is Austin LaPlante. Fourth, Kyle Matthews. Fifth, James McLeod. Sixth, Dylan Jacobs. Seventh, Anthony McCrory. Eighth, Seth Cole. Ninth, James Qualls. 10th is Jake Rogers. So that is how the top 10 is. The top 20 right now is Johnny Gardner, Benjamin Miles, Trent Dunham, Joshua Collard, Charles Sanford, Phil Parker, Tim Fiegel, Paul Minnick, Jonathan Zorling, Jay Jefferson. Then the top 30, Dylan Young, Matt McIntyre, Joshua Sekuli, Zach Flickinger, Zachary Fitzwater, Andrew Rich, Preston Plord, Pichu London, William Brock, Chris Michaels, and then the final 3 cars, Mark Lane, Chris Dollerton, James Shelley. As when we get to the line, it'll be 4 laps to go, and I am hoping and praying we can finish this race out under green and hope for a great finish. We've seen the capabilities of great racing, it's just been the cautions have been endless, so maybe from here on out, after this season, we won't do cautions on road courses anymore. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we'll see. But anyways, we're coming to the restart box. Green flag is out. 4 to go here at the Glen. Now you gotta wonder, will everybody be able to make it on gas, because there was differing strategies going on, and already a battle for third. Kyle Matthews trying to retake that position from Austin LaPlante, but LaPlante got the big run off of that corner. And Poteet trying to get back to the back bumper of the 42 of Kyle Keith for the lead. Just double checking to make sure we're still clean and green here. Going through the bus stop. And Kyle Keith looked like he got through that relatively well. And now Kyle Matthews starting to slip back as James McLeod's going to take the 4th spot from the 09. And also here comes Anthony McCrory. But Matthews is going to have the advantage here in turn, I want to say turn 10 here. I thought we were under caution again. I would have kind of been a little bit confused. Whoa, Qualls got loose right off that corner. And we are still green for now. Indeed, we are still green. And Kyle Keith right now has a 0.35 second advantage over Dylan Poteet, but Austin LaPlante is reeling in the 31. Less than 3 to go here in the Cheez-It 220. And LaPlante thinking about going forward to move here in the bus stop. Will he make it work? Oh, he could. We're coming off the bus stop, but Poteet's got that run up high. They're still side by side. And this is exactly what Kyle Keith wants to see, is those guys behind him race so he can try and continue to pull away from everyone behind him. Poteet and LaPlante still fighting it out, and that's actually bringing in James McLeod and Anthony McCrory up here. Oh, but they're pitting! I kind of had a suspicion that they were going to have to pit. Oh, and we got a few cars staying out. Mark Lane going to stay out. Same with Chris Dollarton. They're the only ones to stay out, it looks like. Oh, man, they're going to have to save big time. 2 laps to go here at the Glen. And only 2 cars stayed out, and they were in the very back of the field. Man, this is going to be interesting if they can make it on fuel the rest of the way. But this is the fight for the lead. Mark Lane has the spot. Dollarton, however, kind of reeling him in a little bit. But like I said, you gotta wonder, will they be able to make it on gas the rest of the way or not? So far, they're still good to go, and they are fighting for the position. Man, we could be setting up for quite a finish here if these guys manage to stay out. Dollarton slowly closing in. Oh, but Mark Lane's going to come into pit road. Oh, and he made contact with the 23, and the 23's got damage. The 23's got a big buckle on the front end, but it doesn't matter. White flag is out. White flag is out for Chris Dollarton. Despite getting damage with contact from the 41, he's still the leader. And depending on if he has enough gas and the margin he could have over second place, depending on if he can make it, if we get into the final corners, he could perhaps coast to the line depending on the margin. Nearly 25.5 seconds. Oh, and there was a wreck. James Shelley got into the wall back here. And we are under caution, but they are still going to race it back to the line. It doesn't matter. We're on the white flag lap, and the caution came out after they crossed. Chris Dollarton looks like he's going to make it. He is going to make it. If he runs out, he could just coast it from here. Coming out of turn 11, checkered flag is about to wave. Second win of the season. Chris Dollarton wins the Cheez-It 220 at Watkins Glen after amazing pit strategy. And despite getting damaged, he still pulls off probably one of the best wins I've seen all season strategy-wise. Man, it's been 2 weeks in a row we've had something like this happen, where it came down to the wire in terms of fuel to determine the outcome of the race. We are still, we're going to wait a little bit before we do the results rundown, just to see if everybody gets across the line quick enough. And I think Dollarton just now ran out. Yeah, Dollarton I think just ran out, so he was a half a lap to the good. So that was a close call for the 23, but high risk, high reward. Gets his second win of the season and perhaps a wild card spot for the chase. He does have a win from earlier this season. This is his second one, so he could be one of the wild card drivers for the chase. But let's look at the rest of the results now that things are starting to update itself a little bit. Kyle Keith comes through in a great run in the second position. And how about Austin LaPlante? He needed that run to stay in the top 10 in the point standings, and he finishes in third. James McLeod comes through in fourth, and then his teammate Dylan Poteet finishing in fifth. So great job for Tweenix Racing today. Jake Rogers, phenomenal run in the sixth position. Kyle Matthews comes through with a solid seventh place run. Johnny Gardner, who we didn't really talk about all day, he comes back and gets an eighth place run. Joshua Sakuli with a great run in ninth, and then a solid top 10 finish for perhaps the new points leader, Dylan Jacobs. Or maybe not, because look at who finished 11th, James Qualls. So I think it'll be 2 points separating those two going into next week. But yeah, the top 20, James Qualls, Mark Lane, Matt McIntyre, Seth Cole, Charles Sanford, and right there, Dollarton was out of gas. He hit the pit wall at the end. Good job, Dollarton. And now you're going to end up getting teleported in the pit road. Anyways, Benjamin Miles, Joshua Collar, Trent Dunham, Preston Plord, and Phil Parker round out the top 20. Rest of the lead lap cars were Jay Jefferson, Dylan Young, Jonathan Zorline, Paul Minnick, Andrew Rich, and Zach Flickinger. 2 cars a lap down, Tim Fiegel and James Shelley. Everyone else was out of the race after all the wrecking that happened. Zachary Fitzwater, William Brock, and actually more lap down cars. 1 car lap down, and Chris Michaels, then Pichu London. 3 laps down, Anthony McCrory, and then everyone else was done for the day. David Rivera, Dorian Facepuncher, Sean Galligan, Emmanuel Hartnett, Dylan Thoreau, DJ Curtis, Carson Gum, Jessica Sheldon, and Rafael Ledoux. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Watkins Glen International. We got 4 races left until the chase for the championship. Next week we go back to Hillside Speedway for the Kroger's 500. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Hillside. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.